Alright folks, welcome back to Azeroth. This was originally going to be done in a different video. I actually had this all recorded and ready to go, and then I realized I hated it, so I thought I'd do this again. And obviously you guys are looking for Legion content, if my last video on Legion is an indication, as it blew up over the weekend, well, by my standards at least. So here we are once again, folks, in Azeroth, covering what is to come in Legion, and this time, again, we're going with Priests again. I'm going to be doing the old left to right of the old talent trees. I know some of you are going to wonder what the heck I'm talking about, but back when talent trees were still a thing and you could, like, split your talent tiers, God, that was like, what, Mists of Pandaria that ended? It wasn't even that long ago if you think about it. We had 3 talent trees: Discipline, Holy, and Shadow in order. And that's the order we're going to go. Start on the left and head our way to the right. And this is just what's changing in Legion, what I think about it, how I think it's going to pan out, and some of the fun we're going to have with it. I've been told the pre-patch may be within the month. We don't have a set time yet, so I'm not going to definitively say, but we're a little over a month out, so it's on the horizon. Discipline Priests. We're going to start here. Disc Priests are... They've always sat in a very weird spot because of how shielding works. For those who haven't watched some of my other guides where I talk about shielding versus healing, the major advantage shielding has is there's no such thing as over-shielding. I can heal and overheal, and I've essentially wasted all that extra healing, but that doesn't exist for shielding. Shielding stacks. Yeah, I may not have as much, but the shield is always there. So that's always been sort of a long-term issue we've seen being bounced around. How do you bounce around a class that can just drop these monstrosities of shield? I mean, on live now, on my Disc Priest, I've had shields grant like 200,000 hit points. Now, it isn't a lot when you consider that some of these guys, some of the enemies will hit for like, $8 grand. But that's 2.5 hits comfortably. That's a lot. So we're seeing these bounces coming around, and I'm pulling this away. Now, for those wondering where I'm getting a lot of this information from, I'm going on 3 different websites: Blizzard Watch, Wowhead, and another one called Icy Veins have been my big sources of information primarily. I'll have links for them in the description. Very cool sites. I actually got one of my builds from there I've been using on my priests. It's fun times. We're seeing a lot of changes with Disc. We're seeing them go back to the old atonement specs. I'm trying to think of a way to put it. Atonement is currently in live and was in the past a very smart heal. I hit the enemy with something, a portion of the damage jumps to the lowest health target nearby. In Mists of Pandaria, this is huge. We're seeing that being stripped from it. It's going to require a little more forethought. There we go. That's the term I'm thinking of. And a lot of different abilities. Let me have this all pulled up. In a nutshell, Atonement will be put on various targets through different abilities, mostly through heals. I can read this here. Plea, which is a really nice little heal. You get a level 7, ironically. I'm not entirely sure that's accurate, since I don't think you can spec for Discipline until 10 anyway. Maybe something's changing in Legion. I haven't actually noticed if they've changed the 10 cap. I've been wrong before. Plea is an instant cast, applies... Essentially, Plea's purpose is to apply Atonement, because every unit above the first increases the mana cost by 100%. That adds up pretty quick. Other abilities to do this are Power Word Shield, Shadow Mend, which I cannot wait to have fun with. That one's going to be an awesome ability. And then finally, Power Word Radiance. I'm kind of nice that we're going to see more power words. It's always been Power Word Shield or Power Word Barrier, but we haven't seen anything else. Now we have a new one. This is a sort of a split heal, it looks like. It's more effective than Plea for healing multiple, even a single target. Plea runs at 225% spell power, whereas Powered Radiance looks like it's going to be 250. And again, numbers not set in stone, but this is what they're currently at, so we may see a little difference. Again, all these will apply Atonement, which apply 40.1% of the damage you deal as healing to your teammates. Now, this is all damage. Originally, Atonement has been Smite, Holy Fire, and maybe a few others. So we're seeing this become a lot more. We're going to see, and Penitence, obviously. Showered Pain is actually joining the roster. It'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. Essentially turns Showered Pain almost into a weak renew of sorts, because you can just put it on. I don't know if it's a single target damage only. Whenever you deal spell damage. So, I mean, you could Atonement a tank and dot up an entire group, and that's probably a fair bit as passive healing. But again, I don't think Penitence, it only lasts 15 seconds, and Power Word Shield now has a 6-second cooldown. However, we are seeing 6 seconds, 7.5 seconds. I'm getting two different numbers here. So it's going to have a cooldown now, and we're losing Weakened Soul. It will somewhat be missed, but not badly enough. That's going to be a lot of fun, because we're going to see this. I foresee Disciplined Priest being the primo instancing class, challenge runs, mythic dungeons, etc. Just because it's going to have so much output to speed things up. And if there's one way to take a lot of stress off the healer, it's by making the fights a lot shorter. But that's half the fun. Some of the other changes, let me see. I'm not seeing a lot of other major changes. And again, that'll be fun. I main this as my secondary at the moment. I may stick with it. I may go back to Holy. I may be a Shadow Holy again. I haven't actually figured out what I'm going to do with that yet. So, that way have fun. I will admit, the Discipline weapon looks really cool. It's definitely has this almost ominous vibe. Apparently it was actually made by the Scarlet Crusade, if my lore reading is an accurate source here. And it's got some pretty wicked looking seps. Let me see if I can... I'm not seeing a lot here. Okay. I might get pictures if I can. Maybe, maybe not. But I should be able to find... Actually, yeah, I'll see if I can think of some pictures for you guys. But this kind of segues into our next class, the Holy Priest. This was the Standard Tree. And this was... They've always been big healings. They've always been about burst healing. They've always been about a lot of things. And now we're kind of seeing this come back to this thanks to a couple of abilities. The Holy Words. We're getting rid of the chakras. Sayonara, you will not be missed. I mean, it was an okay concept, but just kind of felt meh. So we're seeing the return of the Holy Words, and two of them, Serenity and Sanctify. Both serve very different purposes, both on a minute cooldown. These are supposed to be like mini miracles your character can perform. I'm not sure if they share a cooldown or not. It makes sense if they did, but it actually, from what I'm reading in Serendipity, it sounds like they're actually two separate cooldowns, which can be really cool. Sanctify is our AoE heal. 6 allies, 10 yards, 600% of your spell power. That's a pretty nice heal right there. Until you take into account Serenity. Instant cast, 1-man cooldown. Perform a miracle, healing an ally for 2,000% of spell power. Now, I want you to realize, 2,000%. That is literally, in some scenarios, a lay on hands on a minute cooldown. Which can be shortened thanks to Serendipity. That is awesome. That is going to be flipping amazing to pull out. We're seeing the return of the Divine Hymn. We're keeping that. That's going to be... Oh, interesting. That one's raid based now. Oh, that's cool. That's seeing that back. We're seeing a major change to the where'd you go? I just saw you. Oh, where'd it go? Prayer of Healing. There we go. We're seeing that one have the group restriction removed. And I've been playing Priest since the Brain Crusade. I have done a lot of healing in a lot of different raids. That spell has had so many issues due to the group requirement. It was almost always worth grabbing anything else to keep the healings going because you knew it would work. And now that they're changing that, it's gonna be one of the best spells we have again. It'll be kind of nice. We are losing Circle of Healing as a standard ability, but we're regaining it as a talent. let me get onto the right page. It'll be a level 100 talent, which kind of bugs me because it's kind of like, why does it need to be a talent? And why'd you have to stick 2 other really nice things in there? Benediction, which grants a renew on a target, and then apotheosis? I know no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Which is essentially giving us holy form for 30 seconds. Yes, we're finally getting holy form. Took us freaking long enough. But that's going to be a lot of fun. Whew. Especially with the changes to this more big burst, big heal. We will be the biggest healers again. We were the original healers. We were the best healers. We will return to our position. Now, admittedly, we don't do anything particularly well, but we do everything somewhat alright. Alright. Disc, holy. I was actually hoping this video would be a little longer, but I realized I don't have that much to talk about with these. I don't have hands-on time. I'm not in the beta. And I almost don't want to be in the beta, because I kind of want to have this be a surprise. I want to jump into the pre-patch and learn everything, and let that be that sense of wonder I've not had in this game for a long time. And now we're going to jump over to Shadow Priests. I just did a video on this, so I'm not going to go into a ton of details here. I'm going to cover that a little better, since I really didn't feel like I did in the other video. And you guys kind of showed it with the really bad retention time. I apologize. That was a very quick video. That really could be better. We're not seeing a ton of changes overall in Shadow in the form of just spells. Other than a few really nice ones. We're seeing Shadow Orbs gone, which unfortunately is the removal of Devouring Plague, which I'm kind of sad about because that was a throwback to a really cool time where we had some really fun stuff. Devouring Plague used to be a undead priest racial ability. Way back in like the Burning Crusade, all priests got at least one racial ability based on their race. Racial ability, duh. For humans, it was Desperate Prayer. For the Draenei, it was Fear Ward. Undead got Devouring Plague, and I figure what everyone else got. That gives you an idea. Those are the only 3 that survived this long. So the rest were kind of pants. So, Devouring Plague was one of the iconic ones. I'm not sure if anyone has Desperate Prayer. Yep, nope. Holy still retains Desperate Prayer. And Fear Ward is, I want to say that's still a baseline for the class. But again, literally, that's just gone. All those old throwbacks are gone. So it's a little saddening. But I love what they're doing otherwise. I like that Void Form is triggered by us. It's a steroid. I'm using the term steroid here loosely. And this is more the definition from MOBAs, where it's just something that boosts your character. I mean, it's 30% shadow damage increased. Very nice. For every second in Void Form, you gain 1%. You gain 1% haste. And I've actually seen different ones. I think it saves for a minute in the last set I found. Let me. Last 12 seconds afterwards. Right. 20 seconds, not 12 seconds. Huh, I could have sworn it said a minute last time I checked. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's going to be cool because it will really separate good Shadow Priests from great Shadow Priests, is those who really understand when to use Void Form. If you know the hero, Bloodlust, whatever you want to call it, there's like 6 of them now. I remember when the Horde, the only one who got a hair was massive haste boost. Bloodlust. Shamans. Only guys who had. Then we got Shamans, and it was Heroism. Then Mages got it. Time Warp? Arcane Warp? I think it's Time Warp, actually. And it's tricky. I like that more classes have it, because it's kind of nice. That was their bring the player, not the class mentality that I wish they had seen a little more of in the last couple expansions. But we're kind of cool because we're seeing a lot of the same abilities, just a little different. The Mind Flay now having a different set of setups. The fact that it can be replaced with the Mind Spike, that was a weird change to me. But I kind of like what it does, so I'm kind of curious how it's all going to work. But, again, I just did a video on it, so I don't think I need to drill into your guys' skull a second time. It's going to be a great time to be a priest. It's going to be a great time to be a WoW player, period. But priests are definitely seeing a lot of changes. We're seeing Holy get back to its roots a little more. We're seeing Discipline sort of embrace that middle of the road, I'm a healer and I'm a damage dealer style. I can see that being a great leveling spec, even more so primarily if you're in a group, because I could see that just being an amazing group leveler. Dungeons, again, I see it being very well, though I'm wary of its overall output capacity for healing. Time will tell. And of course, I can't wait to tear things up as a void form. But that's everything I really wanted to cover here, folks. Hopefully this is educational, entertaining, or otherwise just something worth your time. If you thought so, please leave a like, leave a comment, or hey, if you really like my stuff, leave a subscribe. Stay subscribed. What might be the term for that? You don't know? Okay, whatever. Work on that later. But that's everything I wanted to cover, folks. So my name's TechBan. I wish you all good luck, good hunting, and safe travels. I'll see you in the next one, folks.